Okay, so now that you've got everything clear, so everything is clear of the drive, the platter is sitting there all by itself, still got screws in it, we don't have any of the spacers or anything around it. What I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it while I'm trying to hold this here, I would normally hold with my two hands. I'm using my belly. I normally hold with my two hands. I hold the pressure around the platter tool just enough that I can push the edge against the back wall. Then I can slide it in over the top of the platter around the black ring. I let go, and now it expands a little bit around it. There's a little V shape. The V shape should be towards the gap, towards you. There's a V shape right here. You push this V shape down, and it puts pressure around the platters. Okay? So now it's tight. Now it'll be tighter. I don't know if tight's the right word, but it's tighter, right? Now what you have is you have a hole through the top. You have this protective layer so that you don't hit it with a screwdriver or screws. You put your screwdriver through here, and you gradually back out each screw, pick it up with your tweezers, put it on the table till it's free and clear. Now when you get done and you pick up your platter tools, you want it to sit straight up and you want to go straight down. You do not want to turn that. You do not want to, so when you pick it up, you're going to put it straight down, because inside there are rings, especially if there's multiple platters, there's rings between them. These are single platters, so even if you mess it up, it should be okay. We can put them back. It doesn't scratch them. But what happens is a lot of people pick it up, there's a ring and there's a cap, and they look at it and go, oh my gosh, that's great, and it goes clunk, clunk. And then it's sitting in there. And then you have to kind of jiggle it back into place, get them back in a line so you can put them back together. So don't do that. Pick it up, put it straight down. Everybody okay? Okay, good. So once you have that done, then put it on the table, and then if there's anything else that needs to come out of, like this one, you should be able to remove the motor. And then once you've got all that done, and it's nice and clear like yours is, now your job is to do the exactly reverse that you did. So you are going to reassemble it exactly the same way that you took it out. Okay? No.
It's metal.
No, and it's not doing anything. So this is sitting on top of this cap right here. It's not touching the platter,
okay.
right? And then nothing underneath. It's only this one little 1/4 inch around the edges.
Yeah, that's solid.
Okay? Yes. Now you can take out all the screws, use the tweezers, and take out all the screws. So, is this the tools y'all guys use? You using these?
Yeah, but I don't do platter.
Okay.
On this one.
Okay. What are you going to today? All right. So once you clear the drive, you use a flathead screwdriver to lift up. Then you'll be able to put the platter tool around the whole thing. Okay?
So,
clearing it with the whole head assembly.
flathead screwdriver.
Yeah.
Why don't you clear it with one head though? Like,
Well, that's why you made the Z-shape tool, so you can lift up just a little bit and move it out so you can clear.
Yeah.
Right? And then once you remove this post, as it does it, it'll just rise up on its own. So once you've cleared the platter, there's no other danger.
Now, if it's rising up, why do you have to clear the platter? Wouldn't it just come straight up?
Because it bends like this in the suspension, right, then it causes it to bend or do something else. So I do the best I can to get it off of the platter. So, because the platter is the gold. That's what, if you screw up the head, so what? But if the platter is screwed up, now you're done. Right, you can keep replacing heads all day long as you don't scratch that platter. Okay? So I treat the platter like it's gold.
Now, a minor scratch, would that affect it that much? Like, if
Yes.
in my case, if
Yeah.
I had touched it, would that damage it already?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, that goes.
Not only that, but it now makes kind of an indentation that the new head would then run across and do damage to the new head. It doesn't take much. It's way less than what you think it is from that standpoint. But yes, a gouge is like a trench.
You said there's plastic and then lubrication plastic.
Yeah, right.
That's already
No, once you've done that, now you've made a trench and it has walls on the side of the trench. Like it's huge to the head assembly.
Don't pick it up.
Okay. You're right.
Multi-platter.
Good. You're right.
Little slide.
yeah.
So you're just clearing. Well, don't use the screwdriver until you clear it. So you're going to lift this up just a little bit and slide it out. Just here. You want me to show you?
Use this one. Yeah.
Let me drive for a second now.
3.5 and 2 screws.
So my entire job is just to try to make sure that I'm able to clear.
Put that down.
So I'm going to come just a little bit, and then I'm going to clear this, so that way you can see that the head isn't going to drag over the edge. See what I mean? So that's all I'm trying to do, is trying to clear it like this.
And then set it.
So now I'm safe, okay? So that's, and then when I go to put it back, I'm going to do exactly the opposite. I'm going to come up, and I'm going to use this kind of like a lifter, and I'm going to do everything I can not to touch the edge, and then bring it back onto the platter, and then move this out, okay? So this is back to the position you were in, all right? So now that's all you're going to do, and then once it's cleared, this screw is going to bring it up, okay? There you go. Now come straight down, don't look all around, and then take this motor out and take that magnet out. All right. How are you, sir? Good?
Not a motor.
Okay.
So that V trick was good info though. That's the part I was missing in the platter. I
Okay.
didn't realize if you pushed it down.
Yes, right. You got to push it down.
So why don't
increase
they
the-
put like a coating on the bottom of the platter tool to keep it, because you've clearly got a piece of metal sitting on top of a platter.
No, you don't.
So it's staying off it slightly?
It sits on the cap,
Oh, it's sitting on the okay.
right? So the cap is already indented from the platter. It's not sitting on top of the platter.
Gotcha.
Zero. No touching the platter.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, why is it?
Right. It only touches the edge, that 1/4 inch edge around there. That's all it's touching. Doing all right?
I don't know.
Okay, so let's back up. All right, so first thing is, did you get that off safely? How did that collapse right there?
It collapsed.
Well, don't move,
It,
don't move,
it
don't move.
moved after when I was taking the
Okay.
magnet off.
All right, so that would have been one of the instances where, I guess the learning component would be don't move it there until you remove the magnet the first time, right? Yes? Because it would have stayed in the park position, which was up here, right? You remove the magnet.
in the middle of the drive.
Yeah, here, in the park position.
Okay.
Right? So here, can I sit down for a second and I'll show you? All right. Tweezers. All right, let's go back to where we were. All right, so let's say this piece right here, because whenever you have these pieces like this wants to either fling out or fling back, right? It wants to go the other way. Now I'm going to reverse the process in the hope we don't damage the disc.
It's just the,
Okay? All right. Now. Okay? Now let's go back to where we were. So now my guess is, when you were in this state, so what you did first was you moved the head to the edge of the platter. So you did this, and you moved it to here. Then you did the tool, right? Right, now you move these screws.
Then I put the little Z down.
Okay. So the safest thing is normally going to be, well, if it's on the platter, and you remove this while it's moved over here, so in here it's in a parking position.
Okay.
So it's pretty safe to remove it now here.
Okay.
You remove these two screws. Now you didn't move this, so you can't clear this because this is stuck. There's a gasket underneath. It's a piece of rubber, and it's dry. So did you pop this up?
No.
Right, so this is what you need to do first. You take those two screws out like you did, but you push really hard because it's going to take really hard to push up because it's a dry gasket. So you can either try to push it up from there, or you can try to come at it like an angle here and then try to pop it so that you can get it up. But it's stuck because it's a dry gasket.
Okay.
You understand what I mean? Yeah. But usually I push really, really hard from underneath. So I'll just come up underneath. It won't pop like that. Oh. You have to take the board off before you do anything.
Okay.
Before you ever even put it in this kit, the board should have already been going.
Okay.
So we're going all the way back.
Never taken a hard drive
Okay.
apart at all, so.
Yep. I think you had left the room or were doing something else when I told everybody.
I did the exact same thing. I left the board.
I did too.
Okay.
Flip it upside down later.
So right now we're just gonna leave this like this. We did not put the screw back in, but I want you, before we do anything else, always take the board off first. Okay. So we're just gonna take the board off and then flip it back over and then get back to that position again. Okay. Yep. All right. Put the tab up, all the way up. Okay. There you go. Now push down and kind of, well, lock this in place, like make sure that it's like as down as much as possible, then push the V down as much as you can. Okay? All right, good. And then that should be enough now to lock it in place. Okay? So now, remove the screws. That's good enough because it won't be flat. Then remove all the screws, and then you can lift it up and put it down on the table. Good? Putting it back together? Taking it apart? Good?
Put it together. Now hard, just hand tighten them a little, you know, really tight or?
Yeah. Hand tight is enough. Okay? All right. Did you see how I did that with the platter tool?
Yeah.
So once you get it in this position, once you get it here, so once you've kind of locked it around, I like to push down and make sure that it's really in there. Okay? So once it's in there, then you push this down.
I haven't unscrewed yet.
You what? That's not, no, you should not. You should not. What's going to happen now is you lock this down, so now it has a grip around the disc. Okay? Now you unscrew it.
Okay.
So that's all you're trying to do. So I'm going to do that again so you can feel it. But that's basically what you're doing is you're trying to create pressure, push it down, lock it, so then that way it'll be tight around the... Now you unscrew the screws and pull them out one at a time with your screwdriver, with your tweezers. Okay? What?
Can I put it back together?
Yep, put it back together. All right, what are you doing? How are you?
Same thing.
Okay, put it all back together. So yours had fluid dynamic bearings, yours had ball bearings.
Oh, is that
So
why
that's,
that was?
yeah, that's why his hasn't come out. His are fluid bearings, they're pressed into the case. Yours are ball bearings.
That's why the whole motor came out?
Yes, right. Okay, did you get that piece of foam off the bottom too?
Nope.
Get that off there, so you can't get access to the, take all that off. Okay, there you go. You can see how old and rotten this is. And you can imagine it basically causes oxidation and stuff like that on the board.
Okay.
So it's,
And this was, is this what you were talking about on some?
on Western Digitals, it's thicker foam and it kind of deteriorates like an old couch
You
or
were saying
something.
sometimes when you see that, you'll take the board off, then take this off, and then clean this.
Clean the board, clean all the connectors on the board. What happens is they start to rot. So right here where these connectors are, touches those connectors. But yes, I'll clean both. I'll clean that, clean this, make sure that there's no oxidation anywhere else on the connectors.
And then sometimes you're able to just put that board back on,
Yeah,
image it.
yep.
Nice.
Now, does the position of the platter matter where, you know,
Yep,
like when you took it apart, I should have made a mark. Does it matter
Well,
where it is, or it doesn't matter because it's round and
it does matter except for the fact that when you remove a platter, why would you be moving a platter? To go to another
Another
drive.
one, so it's going to be unbalanced no matter what?
Correct.
Oh, okay. Like,
Right? So this is a pretty good simulation of that, because if it's unbalanced now because you removed the motor, put everything back together, now you're going to have to deal with that.
okay.
It may be off, some of you may be lucky, some of you may not be lucky. It's a struggle. I want you to feel the struggle. Right?
Feel my pain? Oh, holy crap.
All right. Yep.
So you said
Yep.
this was the correct step one that I didn't do.
Correct. Then you would have removed the lid, then you would remove these screws, which you did, okay? But you just did them out of order. Okay? Now,
My screws back in order, so
Oops.
step two would have been to take those out.
okay? And then now, what you want to use, so what I normally would do at this point is from underneath, you can grab the board right here and you can push up with your thumb, and then that will pop. See, that little gasket will pop. So this piece will push up, it'll just pop. It'll stay there, it won't move. But go ahead and do it. There you go. Then move, just hang that off, and then your next job is to remove this magnet.
I'm pulling it up. Go ahead, John.
Yep, yep. You're just going to put it down. This the magnet is, there's a magnet right here when you close the lid. Okay.
While I'm holding it, press it down to the bottom. Just lift up straight down.
Yep. Just pick it straight up. Put it straight down.
So this is something, definitely something you do first thing in the morning. You don't do a drive in after like 4
I
o'clock.
agree, and that's what I would say tomorrow. I would normally say, don't do, when you're doing this as a job,
Do it in the morning.
I usually would have a cup of coffee, then about 10 o'clock in the morning start on those drives. I do all the drives that I'd have to do in the clean room, then come out and work on them. Don't do it at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon when you're going to leave at 5, because then you'll be in a rush. And it really does matter what your attitude is about it in the whole process.
Real good?
Let's take this out too. That way we can mess up with everything.
I'm gonna put a sign on my door. We don't fix drives on Friday.
Yeah, I'm on vacation. Okay, good. Now you do what you did before. Now, my only thing would be is when you're inserting this tool, so you're going to spin the platter, you're going to move it to the edge, and then when you're inserting this is kind of wide. It's wider than the amount of space that you have here, because you don't want it to come any further out than like these 2 dots right here, because the head's right here. And the head, you don't want to touch it. You don't want anything touching that. So you only want to stop right here. Now you can do that with the tool that you made, but it's a little wider than that, right? I mean, it's okay. I'm just saying, just make sure that you're not touching the head assembly at the end, okay? And then you're going to bring it out, lift it up, and clear it. Now keep this out of the way. Keep this kind of sitting over here. You understand what I mean? Because when you clear the head off of this right here, if this is in the way, then it'll be sitting under it. Okay? Yep, you're good. So yours are fluid bearings. So that pin that I was talking about through the middle, whereas theirs have all been ball bearings. There's only 1 or 2 that have been, but those are fluid bearings. So you can't move this piece. The fluid bearings are permanently in there. It's pressed in with a pin right
So
there.
there's no screws to take it out.
Right, there's no screws to take it out, and there won't be. It's pushed in, and if you look on the other side, you can tell the difference because there's a circle, and that's pushed in. So there's nothing to remove anymore.
So in that case, you'd get a donor with the motor and everything included and just change the platter.
Correct. You would do exactly what you're doing, strip it down to this, and then move the platter over and everything else over. Okay? All right. Reassemble. Do exactly the opposite of what you did. One step at a time. Yep. And do exactly the opposite of what you did. Put it all back together.
So all the new ones are fluid bearings?
Yes. All of them after 2006 are going to be fluid bearings. Okay. How about you, sir? Now, when you're putting these back, once you've got it up on the platter, then remove your tool. I don't really like the tool going all over the platter. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So as soon as you get to a spot where you can remove it, then do that. Okay.
Alright.
Now be careful when you put this back in. This plastic piece is supposed to be able to move,
Right.
and if you don't get it right, it won't be sitting in this little niche right here.
All right.
Okay.
Got it.
All right. Okay, good. How you doing over there?
Trying to get it to stop wobbling. Now does this just lift out?
Yes, so once you've cleared, have you used this big screwdriver to back it off of? I had a big screw, this one. So did you unscrew it with this one yet?
No.
Okay, so now that it's clear, once it's clear of the drive, so you're holding it like this.
Okay.
Once it's clear, and normally I use tweezers, like I would normally be holding it like this on this side or something. Then you can take this and you stick it here, and this is a flathead screwdriver. So you unscrew this and it will lift up, and you hold it with your tweezers and move it out to the side.
Okay.
Okay? All right, so I'm gonna, okay, you gotta be ambidextrous now. Don't stab the platter. Whatever you do, don't stab the platter. Don't stab the platter. Snakes on a plane. Get snakes on a plane.
A little wobbly.
Yeah, we'll deal with it afterwards.
That's what I figured.
Everyone is supposed to go through the struggle and be a little bit upset at the struggle. Right?